welcome to another episode of the freaking casting couch. This is episode 3. We are your co-hosts, Kennedy Scribecast, Ray Johnson, Johnny Crown. We're gonna go ahead and get right on into it. So this past weekend, there was a movie that dropped. And by two of the legends in the freaking game, none other than Spike Lee, Denzel Washington, Jeffrey Wright was in it, and it's called Highest to Lowest. It's actually a reimagination. I'm not going to say a remake, a reimagination of there's this Asian director and producer. He had a movie called Highest to Lowest, and they took kind of the concept, right, and then turn around and applied it to this new movie. And so if you haven't seen it yet, make sure you watch it, but it's going to have a limited release. It's a limited release in theaters, and then it comes out in a month, right, on Apple TV. And so this is a Denzel Washington. So I'm going to go in. So you guys don't even have to respond because this is about to be, I'm going in. Let me just preface by saying that. This is a Denzel Washington film. We talking about the greatest actor of all time. Denzel freaking Washington film. And somebody please tell me why this film was only in one theater in the Inland Empire. So let me back it up, right? So me, my fiance, we had a game plan. We started to sort of see promo for this film maybe 2-3 days prior. They really haven't promoted it. Here's how you know it's bad. Because the day of, we're at my parents' house. My mom's going to watch Sky. We have to set it up because now I got a baby, right? So you got a baby, you got to set up the babysitter. So we set it up perfect so that Sky's going to be asleep while we go to the movies. So in my head, I'm like, this is Denzel Washington film. Like, we're going to be able to go down the street to the movie theater at 7 o'clock. And then it's going to be about an hour and a half, 2-hour move. We're going to make it back before she wake up and want to nurse again. This is the game plan, right? So we get there early. We tell my dad, we're going to see a movie. He's like, what movie is out, right? That's the first sign that's bad. My dad goes to the movie theaters every week with my cousin Abdul, who's special needs. So there's not one movie that this man does not see, right?
No, yeah.
So first sign that it's Houston, it's bad, is what movie's coming out, right? And I'm like, Dad, the Denzel Washington movie's coming out. He said, what? There's a Denzel movie coming? Second sign. We're at the second fail already. And it's Friday. That means it's out. It's out, right? So then beyond that, okay, it's time to go to the movies, right? Prior to, on the way there, I was like, okay, babe, man, we got to see what movie theater we're going to go to, right? But I'm thinking in my head still that it's going to be down the street because this is what? A Denzel Washington film. I look it up on Fandango, and the nearest theater, right, is literally 20 minutes away that's playing. This is insane. This is insanity. I say, you know what? This is what they do to black films. This is exactly what they do to our movies. So how are you supposed to even hit the box office numbers if you're not in the theaters, enough theaters to even get the certain amount of people? Like, I understand that it's a limited release, and I'll get into that in a second. But like, let's actually talk about this. How are we supposed to hit the same box office numbers as the white films if they don't even put us in the same amount of theaters, right? Sorry, we're at strike 3 now. So we're not even in the same amount of theaters, right? We're strike 3. We're already out. We're already out the building. Let's pile it on now. So then we go to this theater. They put us in the smallest room in the theater. There's 4 rows in the theater. 4 rows. It's a Denzel Washington film. And there's 4 rows in theaters. On Fandango, it says that it's nearly 90% sold out on Fandango. So we're like, dang, we got to get our tickets ahead of time. Like, okay, maybe there's some logic behind that. Only theater in the IE, everybody's trying to go see the movie, right? Like, okay, boom. We show up to the theater. Tell me why all the black people walking in were saying the same thing. Why is this the only theater that this is being shown? This is a Denzel Washington film. This is horrible. You see how they do us? Regardless, and mind you, we don't even know each other, and everybody is saying the same thing as they walk in. And so we sit down in the theater, right? And we wait in the spot, probably 5 minutes out from the movie about to start, and it's barely any people in the theater. But online, it said that it was nearly sold out. So, Houston, there's a problem here. So somebody lying. We all like, man, it said it was sold out. Where are all the people at? Where are the people at, right?
How many people was
Yeah,
it?
it's something
Okay,
going.
say
It's something
32.
going.
Yeah.
32 seats, out of 32 seats, it was probably
But
only like, I'm gonna say max,
just
it was
say it was
15, 20 people there. Like max 15, 20 people there. Sorry, it's skipping, but
still not
max
90.
15,
And I
20
gave
people
him
there.
32 cents.
So somebody lying. Somebody's trying to jip us, because that's what they do. That is what they do to us. They will say that the theater is full, because who controls the data? Who controls the data? The movie theater, right? Or the person who's booking the movies. It's the ultimate sign of disrespect. And so my only thing is this:
Other
what
movie
are
is
we
out
going to
right
do about
now.
it? So the
What are
other
like the
movie that's
top
out
two
is
movies?
Freakier Friday. That's been out, right? That's
Top
with
two,
Lindsay Lohan. That's a big kids movie. Like, I'm gonna give that.
top
And
three
then the other
that
movie
are
that's
out, right?
out came out maybe what couple weeks back. I couldn't even tell you like what the top 3 movies are beyond that coming out. It's just like
Because
it's just this constant freaking piss off.
because I think what it is,
My
from what I'm
internet's
hearing,
going in and
seems
out.
as if
Let's see if it comes back. Yeah, it did.
it seems as
So
if there's some type of competition. So in order for them to stiff the joint, they gotta play some
it's
game.
beyond that, though. It's beyond that. No, this is what they do to us specifically. They've been doing this for years, though. They'll limit the amount of theaters that we're in, right? Because mind you, so let me talk about what the actual release structure is. So the film is produced by Spike Lee, right? His production company. A24, right? And then Apple. As far as I'm concerned with Apple, I think it's more of an acquisition than anything else. I think really it's Spike Lee and his production team that produced, and maybe A24, and then Apple came in as a distributor. They've done this before with a limited release.
Doesn't Spike Lee have 40 acres and a mule or something like that?
40 Acres and the Mule, that's his production company, right? So what
Yeah.
happens is this: they make the movie, right? Then essentially they go to Apple and say, we have this movie, do you want to be on board? Or it could have been from jump, like, hey, we have this movie with Denzel, do you want to be on board, right? As where it's going to go once we're done with the film, which is smart. As an independent filmmaker, it's smart to have a destination in place, right? Well, Apple's probably like, all right, we're going to do a limited theater release because it's Denzel, so we can get more money beyond just what we're going to get with streaming. They've done that before, though, with Leonardo DiCaprio films, with Robert De Niro films. Okay, I guarantee when they did the release on these films, they were in more theaters than what they put for Spike Lee and Denzel Washington this time around. And I don't even have to look up the numbers. We could just say off top, you didn't have to go 20 to 30 minutes to find a theater. And we're talking about the Inland Empire is one of the black meccas of California. There's the Inland Empire, right, with all its cities. Then there's Los Angeles, right? And then there's kind of the Bay Area in California. There's no excuse for this. There's a high predominant black area, whether it's San Bernardino, Rancho Cucamonga. Corona has a black population, right? Riverside has a black population, and you gave us one theater, and then there's one theater in Orange County. You're doing this on purpose, right? And so my point is this: why do we keep allowing them to do this? What is the solution? And I got the solution. I don't bring up problems unless I got the solution. The solution goes
Right.
back to what we talked about. I'm not up in the theater. I might though. Catch me next week, and I might already got the theater open. I might like no, that part.
Like taking over the Inland Empire. That's a void to fill. 30 theaters right
30
now.
theaters. I'll do the Series A funding and get it. But no, for real though, the solution is having our own platform, which is what all I have to say is November 1st. I'm going to keep saying this November 1st, because having your own platform, imagine this, right? So release structures, even with big films, right? Release structures is usually theatrical. That's step number 1, right? And then you go, which we'll call it some type of SVOD, meaning you've seen it on like Amazon Prime. You can rent the film for $10.99, right? Or whatever that looks like, or on Apple, $10.99. And then it goes SVOD to where you have a subscription. So like in this case, it's going to go to Apple. If you're already subscribed to Apple TV, you do there. And then the film kind of is just there, right? After that. And then it might pop around to AVOD maybe 2-3 years later. That's when you see those films hop to platform, right? But imagine this. Imagine there was a spot in between, right? And so let's say it went to theaters, and then there's a spot in between this and when it goes on Amazon Prime. And what if somebody did a one night only premiere on an AVOD platform, meaning it's free for the audiences, right? But the filmmakers get to make the money. And that's all I'm gonna say. We're just gonna leave that right there. That is the solution. I guess the greater conversation though we're having though is, why do they keep doing this to black films, and why do we keep letting them? That's the conversation.
It's kind of weird. But it's weird to me because they put it out, the production companies or Apple TV said it's in limited theaters, right? Or something like that. What term did they use? You said it before.
Mm-hmm. It's
What was
limited
it?
theaters, so limited theatrical release. Release.
Okay, so they said that, right? And then on a certain day, it goes to Apple TV. So they didn't have, I don't think they had this big expectation of putting it in theaters. It was just another way for them to market it, to get you to Apple TV to watch it. You get what I'm saying? That's what I think, because why would you put something in theaters and then give a date that it's going to be on like your app? You know what I'm saying? Like
Well, I agree with that. I think that's the premise is well, here's what I really think. I really think it's just a money grab, right? I think it's we have Denzel Washington in the film. We're going to do a money grab, right? But my whole thing is, it's still, you can't do that cuz that's like a legacy thing. You like, now you're making it look like, based off of box office numbers, that the movie flopped because you only put it in a certain amount of theaters, right? You have to either go all in or not in at all. And they went halfway in, at least that's what it appears. Like, they went halfway in, like, oh, we're just going to throw it in some theaters, get some extra money, and it's going to be, in a month, it's going to be on Apple. But like, why would you do that? And I welcome Spike to come join us on the show, and maybe he can give us some insight that we're not even thinking about. I heard a theory that what it really boiled down to is, give us some game. I heard a theory that what it boiled down to was it boiled down to being qualifying for the Oscars, because in order to qualify for the Oscars, right, you have to have a theatrical release window, right? You have to be on a major streaming platform and they have to submit you, and then you have to have obviously certain people in it, right? So now doing the limited release, this Apple TV release, they're going to submit him for the Oscar, so he wants the Oscar. That's the theory. But I'm like, do we really care though about the Oscars? Like, real life, Johnny, do we really care about the Oscars?
Yes and no. I care because I want Spike to get an Oscar. I think he's one of the most overlooked directors of all time, and one of the most creative and innovative directors of all time. And I feel he deserves it. One thing that you forgot to mention is that the other person that's in the movie is the one and only Pretty Flacco, Riri's husband, baby daddy.
A$AP Rock. He did a great job. He did a great job. He really did.
But I think what it is from what I remember hearing, or I think it is that Apple purposely did that. Like, it was a strategic move for them to have it limited in the theaters, because they are going to have it on Apple TV, on a streaming platform, you know what I'm saying, and get the bulk of the viewership and whatever. Either way, going back to what you're saying, a streaming platform is the way now, because not everybody wants to go to the theaters. I'm telling you, like, I see this happening in the next 10 to 15 years, probably less. People won't be going out like that no more. You know what I mean?
I mean, it'll still be date night and stuff like that, but not how people used to go before the pandemic.
And it'll be entirely different, because before we were, like, before our time, like, say in the 60s or the 50s, they had like outside movie theaters. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
we had the drive-in in Chicago.
Yeah, it's, you know what I'm saying, they had drive-ins. You know,
there's some drive-ins out here too, though. There's
drive-ins.
I remember going to one a couple of years ago. Yes.
Yeah.
And
that's dope. Yeah, getting that back too.
It's gonna come back. I think that's gonna come back. You know what I'm saying? Like, heavy. You know what I'm saying? And because that's an experience that used to be a thing. Like, that's more everything. It could be romantic. It could be like, it's like so dope to have that back. you know what I'm saying, and to be a normal thing again. You know what I'm saying? People in theaters falling on people now. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I see this one situation where the whole theater fell on the chick. You know what I mean? She was watching one of those 100 Ways to Die, 1,000 Ways to Die type movies. You know what I mean?
That's why I don't go to any
Probably
movies.
some AI or something,
Doing
man.
No, it was real, B. Like I seen that, like that happened, like maybe 2 months ago somewhere. They had the paramedics and everything come get the girl out the. I know she got a big bag. If she's alive, she gonna get one. You know what I mean? So it's so many. Yeah, I know. I didn't really need to bring that up. I just was saying, like, there are many other incidents that people are trying to avoid having to dash out the crib. You know, it's convenience situation. So I feel like in the future, that won't even probably exist no more. You know what I mean? And it's already like going that way because everybody's on their phones. You know what I'm saying? You feel me? So theater, schmeater, it almost seems that nobody cares no more. Everybody wants to watch a streaming platform. Now, a lot of them they are doing a good job, and ours will be next. You know what I mean? Whatever it is we choose to do. So I think either way, the movie I haven't seen it. I don't want you to spoil it, but I'm gonna see it. I'm gonna see it today.
I'm not going to spoil it, but
I
it was
know it's
very
good.
good.
I know.
It was
Come on.
so
Spike,
to
see, I'm,
me.
I'm like a super Spike fan. Once again, it's Brooklyn till I die, right? So I'm a super Spike fan. Like I've watched everything he's ever put out. You know what I mean? So, and to me, he never does wrong. Like his angles, his stories, he's just to me, what's the word I could use? He's just an all around person. He's quintessential. You know what I mean? And he's a quintessential legend. He's been in the game for more than 40 years. You know what I'm saying? And shit like that. You know what I mean? So it's
What really broke Spike out? What really gave him that, that platform that everybody was like, oh shit, I know him.
what you
Like what was his breakout? Was Do the Right Thing. That was his breakout film.
yeah, do the right thing.
I say the
I
Jordan
think.
commercial when he was Mars Blackman.
Oh, you talking about that? Yeah. The
Yeah,
Jordan commercial for
yeah,
sure. I
Yeah.
mean, well,
that was crazy.
this is a great conversation. Why don't we just get straight into top five? Corey's trying to get in. He'll be in here in a second, but let's get into top five Spike Lee films.
Woo!
That's tough.
Yeah,
That's
That's
tough.
that's tough.
I mean,
What you got then, Ray? Who you got? What is in your top five Spike Lee films?
of course, Malcolm X. Of course, Do the Right Thing. But I'm gonna leave those two out. I want to hit some other ones.
I can't believe those two.
Well, I mean, what? Nah, that's the top five is top five. You can't just be like, all right, no, top five,
Hey,
top five.
Yo,
those two. Then I have to go. He Got Game, and I couldn't believe Ray Allen was such a good actor. Like I'm surprised he didn't do more.
okay.
After that, you know what I'm saying? And then that was Denzel as well. So it was to a point where I was like, okay, that was nice. Plus, my background with basketball. After that, of course, Crooklyn. That's
Okay.
that's most definitely it. And I probably will have to go with another one. Like I might have to do Inside Man.
You had
You
like
know,
6, but I'm gonna let it slide.
That was good.
I'm gonna let it.
that was
I'm gonna let
fine.
it slide. We got the man up in here. Corey's up in here.
What's
New.
up? What's up?
Listen, I'm sorry, y'all. I'm on a location scout. You know how it is when you try to do stuff at the last minute. I had to pull over. I was like, oh, it's an app. I gotta get in an app to get in here. So
Oh,
No,
you good?
you're good.
So
We'll keep going. We're segueing, and then we'll get to your questions for you. But what we were just talking about is top five Spike Lee joints, right? So I'll let Johnny go. I'll go, and then you can go. So Johnny, who you got? Top five Spike Lee.
all right, so back again, it's Crooklyn, it's Brooklyn till I die. So Crooklyn, Malcolm X, Black Klansman,
Yeah.
Ooh,
Mo Better Blues,
Okay.
and she gotta have it.
okay, all right, that's tough. All right, mine. I'm going Malcolm X. That's number one for me. I'm gonna do ooh, this tough. I think I might do Inside Man. I'm gonna do Inside Man is in there. I'm gonna do Highest to Lowest. Y'all ain't seen it yet, but if you see it, it would have been in your top five. So I'm gonna say
Okay.
highest to lowest. I don't know. Ooh, Black Klansman. I'll put Black Klansman in there, and then he got Game. Like I'll put that in there. That's my top 5. What you got, Corey?
Spike, man. I gotta go classic Spike. I gotta go Malcolm X. I gotta go Jungle Fever. I gotta go Mo Better Blues. I must say Inside Man. And is that 4 or 5? That's 5 right there, right?
That's
No,
4.
that's 3. You had 3.
3. And you know what? I'm gonna go with an unpopular choice. I'm gonna go with School Days.
Ooh.
Okay.
I like that. I'm not mad at that. And I'm not mad at that at all. Well, we went kind of backwards today, so we're gonna go ahead and go forwards now. Our special guest of the day is none other than Corey Grant. This man has done so many projects, I don't even know where to start. So just look up the brother IMDb and just marvel in the magic. He is an OG in the game. He's somebody that I can now call one of my mentors, somebody who picks up the phone, and I love him for that. Beyond that, though, he's been around in just from like every kind of phase of Black independent filmmaking and content creation. We talking about back in the VOD days. You know what I'm talking about? You remember the VOD days? You not old. You
Yeah.
seasoned.
VOD.
It's just the VOD days, the early streaming days, licensing, theatrical releases, just kind of the full gambit. So today, we really just wanted to take the opportunity to learn from you, hear your opinions about filmmaking, and hopefully help out some young filmmakers and content creators in the process. Thank you for joining us. Welcome to the show,
Yes.
Corey Grant.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank y'all for having me. I appreciate y'all having me.
Pleasure.
Yeah, so I'm gonna ask this question. It seems like we've been having a reoccurring theme of ownership on our platform, right? And my new saying is they brought us here on a boat, but now we're gonna own the ship. Ownership. Ship. Right. They brought us here on a boat, but now we're gonna own the ship. Ownership. And so I've come up with a solution. November 1st is all I have to say. Streaming platform November 1st. But beyond that, let's talk about how the dynamics has really changed with our platforms, right? We know that BET just sold recently, and their parent companies were bought out by Skydance. We know that licensing has changed drastically over there. Me and you have had this conversation. All Black recently bought out, right? Licensing has changed over there. Tubi, good luck if you gonna get in, right? That's changed as far as Tubi originals, and then we can talk about what them deal structures look like, right? So as we navigate the current state of content creation and filmmaking, what are your thoughts about these platforms and the route you should take as a creator?
It's a new game. It's definitely a new game. When I was first starting out, you know, technology was still cool, it was up and coming or whatever. There wasn't a whole lot of people really making good independent feature films. It wasn't as a volume of content as it is today. It was that times, I can go and I've been licensing with Viacom for a long time. That was a lot easier. The money was really good. A lot of money up front during those times. Even with some of the other, I've been on Netflix. I've been on a bunch of them. The thing is now, because there's so much more content and us as filmmakers don't talk a lot, they go to the thing where we don't have money for MGs or we'll take your project, but we don't want to give you no money up front, and it's a recipe for disaster. And I think with so many streaming platforms, there's so much content, a lot of the streamers and platforms are getting very, very I don't want to call it finicky, but very greedy, because they don't have to put money up now, a lot of them. Now, unless you got like this super A-list cast, and you didn't play some big major film festival, or you even got like a mini major behind you, a lot of these deals we used to get back in the past, they're hard to come by. And what they do is they'll take young filmmakers, get your product, and put it on platforms that you can get it on yourself, and take all the money, and then they get you all these fees for marketing, all kind of different add-ons and delivery fees and stuff that they don't even spend the money on, and then you're fighting to get your money. And you know what they do? They put that right up on the streaming platform, like a Tubi, like a Roku. There's so many of them now, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And the hard part is trying to bypass that. I come from a time where how I would budget, I either would self finance or get private investors or whatever the case may be. and I knew my number should be what I should make my movie for and what my return was going to be just off a signature. And I was able to master that for a long time. And
Man, that's what's
it's done well for me. I'm a little smarter now in the game with how things have changed because I've had to rethink who I want to deal with. I've dealt with a lot of major distributors. You know what I mean? And I'm currently in 2 lawsuits pending right now for people that have stole my projects that owe me a lot of money. That's how crazy the game is now. You know, people Tubi, I think, is a great platform. I think Tubi is a great platform. People call stuff Tubi movies. No such thing as a damn Tubi movie. Tubi is a platform, and
right.
I think that's a great outlet for a lot of new filmmakers, and a lot of us older filmmakers been in the game in a minute. We still a little skeptical about it because you don't want to be saying because you know there's a quality gamut from top to bottom that's very wide, and when you get that term Tubi movie, people think it's one thing when it's really just a damn platform. You want to find the movies that you want to watch. You know, everybody has their own
Mhm.
preference. So my thing is now the good thing about Tubi is if you have a good aggregator, you can get in, you can see some good returns on your money. You can maintain your ownership, and you can maintain your uh, you can do non-exclusives. You can be on multiple platforms at the same time, which I think is great. It's
Right.
all about
Yeah.
ownership. But a lot of us
Right.
filmmakers, you from Chicago?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm from Joliet. I grew up in Chicago.
That's what's up.
Yeah, okay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, I'm sorry, we sidebars from the crib.
That's how it go.
My point
I'll
is,
connect y'all.
yeah. So the point I'm making is what they're doing with a lot of us younger filmmakers or new filmmakers in the game, some of these distributors will lock you into a contract 10, 11 years with fees and everything, no money up front, and then put your same project on Tubi. And you locked in
Yep.
for 11 years and they're making money off of you. They ain't did a damn thing. So it's
And
very
you could do yourself.
you can do it yourself. Now there's levels to this. You have your smaller indie movies. I've done those. You got your bigger movies. I've done those. I'm in the middle of can you talk about I got a big project that's looking pretty cool that's hopefully going later this year. But I also got to maintain my independence. That's more of a studio type of situation. But my independence means everything, me owning it. Stuff that I own now pays me now and keeps me cool, you know? So it's very I know it's a long-winded answer, but it's a very tricky slope when it comes to distribution, especially with indie film.
So I got a
What's up?
follow up question, then 2 more, and then I'm gonna pass it off to my co-host. So let's talk. Let's really break it down, right? Because now I'm having a lot of conversations, just kind of educating upcoming filmmakers, right? And I want them to understand the difference between the space that we're in now, right, and the space that we were in, right? So sometimes, you know, me and you, we can talk, we get the terminology right, but let's dumb it down, right, from a layman. They know nothing about the industry, right?
Gotcha.
So let's explain what an MG is, right? And what that used to be, right? With the type of money you used to get. Then there's a license, right? So a license, you guys, if you don't know, is essentially, it's almost like somebody, it has the opportunity to use your film, right? They're paying you to use your film up front for a certain amount of time. And then Corey was talking about a lot of them are doing 10-year licenses, meaning that they have the rights to license your film on their platform exclusively for 10 years and do what they want to do with it during that time place. And then there's AVOD. So there's Tubi, right? Unless you did a Tubi original or a Tubi exclusive, then you're essentially getting paid based off of the amount of people that see the film. And so my question for you, Corey, is just so people can see how drastically it's been different. Let's go back maybe 5 to 8 years, right? What was the average MG or license fee that you would probably see on a film versus what it is now?
I mean, it could be anywhere, you know, the top of a movie it could be as low as 250, as high as a mil. I've been all around those different ranges, and that's just for minimum guarantees. That's not including you back in or whatever the case may be. A lot of times, if you get an MG for that amount, you're getting that from just say a distributor. Now your distributor, this is what they'll do. They'll say, this is how it used to be. They'll take a look at your movie. Let me see your movie. Okay, I like it. They don't say anything. They make a call to Viacom. They make a call to Netflix. They make a call to all these different people to see how much money that they're gonna get off this movie and see how much they're gonna make. So say they come back and they come back where they can get about upfront a mil five, or whatever. They'll come back to you and say, hey, I want to get your movie. I want to license it for 10 years. I'm gonna give you an MG of $400,000. They've already made their money. Or they may say give you an MG of $100,000. They've already made $1 million already just off phone call. That's how I started learning how the game works. I said, hold up. So then once my stuff started getting on major platforms through distributors that was taking it to get it on TV, different places, and people started knowing my product, I started hitting people directly. So instead of going through a quote unquote distributor, I would go directly to Viacom, BET, and get a TV license. I would go directly to a Netflix and attempt to get one there. I would go directly to a Prime at different places because they had already seen my stuff. And a lot of times they have distributors that's just sit in the middle of you to go to the bigger distributors, like a sub distributor. You follow? And they
Right.
already know how much money they're gonna make, but they're not gonna give you that.
Mhm.
And they're gonna lock you in for some years. So that's how the game kind of works. So what I started doing as I started getting more stuff out and people started knowing me, I started separating stuff. You know what I mean? You know my product, I'm not gonna go through a distributor. I'm gonna go directly to the source. And that's how I started sourcing and making more money up front and not being in such long-term licenses. The other thing is, that those are distribution deals. The distribution will go out and license your film to a higher network or broadcast thing. Now the licenses, for instance, a lot of licenses that I would do with Viacom, they would be 3 years. Great money for 3 years.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Then they like it again. Hey, I want to license it for another 3 years. You follow? That's how that game kind of works. And then guess what? At the end of it, if you own it, it comes right back to you. You still own it. I got
Right.
films I done years ago that still paying that they 100% back in my possession now. So that's when you guys talking about ownership now, that's the way to go. That is the way
Right.
to go is ownership because they will tie you up in these long-term deals. You follow? And I have a company. I'm not gonna say the name. I'm about to go in litigation with a company right now that has one of my older projects that went worldwide. They owe me so much money, and they literally sold my project to another distributor during my
Wow.
contract. Didn't tell me, and then the distributor's trying to tell me they don't know who I am or this is our movie. We don't know who you are. Stop lying. I had to get an auditor to come in there and get lawyers on them to get them to come correct. That's how the game. And this was an 11-year deal. Never do an 11-year
Wow.
deal. It's just coming. It's just gonna end like next year. That's how
That's
crazy
great.
Right.
the game is. That's when I was young and dumb, just for talented. Learn as you go.
No, love that. Appreciate you sharing your experience. My second question, right? If you were a filmmaker today, just picked up the camera, right? I mean, milk around your ears, right? What is the route that you would take with your project as of today?
First of all, learn the craft. Learn what you're doing. There's so many people making films now, and what's going to set you apart is number one, the quality of what you do, and then the content of what you do. Try to make your stories. If it's almost every type of story has been done, how can you make an original spin on that? Okay. The other thing is making sure you have some really good actors. People always gonna talk mess about you. Try to get the best you can, but more importantly, try to do it for a comparable budget that makes sense. What happens is a lot of people either they don't have enough money and they try to do something bigger than what the budget allows, and it looks like it. That hurts you, or they have a lot of money and they can't make a product that meets the amount of money they're spending. You got 'em? So a lot of times you can be. It's like having a bad. It's like paying a whole bunch of money for a particular car that you could have got cheaper and still look good and been driving and got a lot more out of it. You get upside down in the market. You follow? So get something very, very contained, high quality, and shoot within the means of which you have. That's number one. And if you can keep it for a nice, moderate budget, you'll see money from it. Because it ain't about the movie you make, it's about getting to the next movie and then the next movie. It's all about the next movie. You follow? And next thing you
Yeah.
know, you look back and you got a long career, you've done some stuff, and you might have took off to a whole nother stratosphere. But you got a lot of people that I call them one and done. You see them one time and you don't see them no more. Either they didn't love it or they just couldn't catch it or whatever the case may be. And then if you get into your second movie needs to be better than your first. Your third needs to be better than your second. You got to progress. If you're still in the same way the whole time, then you got to rethink some things and see what you're doing. That's my advice. Oh, and if you're in it for the money, don't do it.
Don't do it. I tell
Right.
you that all the time.
You're in it for the
That's the
money.
number one tip I be telling people. I be like, yo, you try to make a quick flip, go back to doing whatever you was doing before because it's not gonna happen.
That's not it. Yeah.
That's not it. All right, one more. I'll pass it off. So you've worked with a bunch of different legends, right? What do you think is the best tip advice, let's say somebody like a Master P has given you?
You really gonna go there? You asked me what advice Master P gave me,
Or just in general. That's just because I know
or
you
what
work
advice I
with him.
gave Master P?
What you give him?
Give me a more different type of a question. Like, we mean like, what advice would I give to?
You said
What advice would I give to a actor?
no, what I would say is, from learning from, let's say, some other people who've been in the game before you, right? Not Master P, but
Stuff,
just other people in
stuff that I've
general.
learned from other people.
Yep,
Oh, okay,
yep.
okay, okay. Oh man, I've learned from got a bunch of people I'm cool with. I've learned. I'll say the biggest advice that I've ever gotten, especially as I started to do bigger projects and started working with a lot of different actors or whatever case that got some, had some good careers or whatever. It's your responsibility as a director. You have to respect the career of these people, and you have their career in your hands. You follow? And it's your job to make them look the best they can possibly be, have the best performances they can be, and you're not there to teach them to act. You're there to direct them. You follow? A lot of people think directors are supposed to teach somebody how to act. You don't do that. They're actors. They're professionals. They know your characters better than you do, and you might have wrote them. You follow? But it's your responsibility. They have to be able to trust that you are going to give them, present them in the best way possible, because they're putting your career in your hands. Nobody wants to be in no damn BS movie and makes them look bad and they have a long career. So if they trust you to come on board your project, it's your responsibility to be on top of your game, be on top of your craft, and know that you have somebody's career in your hands. You follow? That is the most. I've worked with a lot of big people, a lot. I trip off of sometimes when I think about it, because I don't really think about it when I'm doing it. When I look back, oh yeah, I wrote with that person. I wrote with that person. Oh, I was the first person got them on. All that. But again, then a director's relationship with an actor is very a symbiote. It goes like this, and it's your job is not to teach them, it's to direct and guide. That's it. To listen. You follow? Don't tell. Like, one thing they taught me when I first started to try to move over to TV is, like, when you come on a series, that cast and that crew's been together for weeks and maybe years before you even got there. You're a guest. So if they don't know you, they're gonna try you. And how well you do with them is if they're gonna invite you back. You follow? I give you one piece of game that I learned. So when you go on the set, I say for a TV series, you got your lead or whatever, who's leading the whole situation. You got to win that person over, right? But when you're doing a blocking rehearsal, they've got their script, they come in, and you kind of know how you want to cover, how you want to shoot it, but you can't tell them that. They got to come in, and you got to let them and let them go to rehearsal, you know what I mean? And you watch what they do. And if you don't, and they're gonna move around, they're gonna do what they want to do. If you don't want them to go in a certain spot, because you have to light a certain area and you don't want to turn around, you just stand where you don't want them to go. They won't go there. You don't have to say anything. Like, little stuff like that is crazy. And then once they've given you, don't never give them no director, any direction when you first get on set, when you rehearse it. Let's see what they're doing. Watch them. They've done their homework. They have in their ideas what they want to do, and take that in and contribute to that. And let it get on their feet, because these actors, a lot of times, they don't want you this is what you're gonna do. You're gonna do this. That makes them a robot. That's not acting. That's not being. That's not. And so you really have to understand how actors think and respect that craft, and they contribute to that. And then once you have them, they will listen to anything you say and your suggestions, because they have a trust in you that you respect what they're bringing to the table. You respect their craft. But that whole stand where you don't want them to go.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I've gotten into some situations with some names I'm not gonna lie, though. I had to kind of like, okay, how I'm gonna deal with this particular person today so you don't screw my whole day up. It is little things like that. But for the most part, I've never really had no big problems. I'm an actor's director. I love, you want to be technical, but you also want to understand acting, understand technique, understand intent, know how to speak to them. So yeah, both. If you just want to say, put the camera this way, point the camera this way, I'm gonna shoot you like this, they don't want to hear all that shit.
No.
So that's my best advice I can give that a lot of people don't think about or don't know.
Appreciate you sharing your experience. I'm gonna pass it off to Johnny. What you got for Corey?
Rob, can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, you can hear me now. Okay, cool. Oh, once again, thanks a lot. Appreciate you for pulling up on us. You know what I mean? My first question is, so your films range from thrillers to relationship dramas. What draws you to a particular story, and how do you decide which genre best carries your message?
Yeah, I've done drama, sci-fi. I've done a lot, but I say this: you watch movies? What kind of movies do you watch?
I'm a sci-fi head.
Do you only watch sci-fi?
Yeah, I love sci-fi.
Is that the only thing you watch?
No, I watch everything. But I thought you meant like my favorite.
Yeah, I know, but do you know my favorite?
Yeah.
I don't have a favorite. I just like to.
No, I said sci-fi is my favorite.
Oh yeah. So do you like multiple different stories, right? Different genres?
Yes.
And you watch
Yes.
all of them, right?
Yeah.
Do you feel you could tell stories in each one of those?
Pretty much.
That's how I've got my career because I watch everything. I've done every genre because it's about the story. My new movie that's we just finishing up now post is a sci-fi thriller set in 2035. Flying cars, all kind of crazy shit. You know, that sci-fi is my first love. I'm a Star Wars guy. I'm old school. I just never had the money to do how I want to do it. And now
Right,
I have
right.
the opportunity. I've done a Bigfoot movie that went worldwide. People don't know a black person did that movie. I've done a bunch of comedy.
Shit.
My other movies are drama.
Okay.
My point is, don't let them box you because they want to box you.
Mm.
A lot of the agents that I've dealt with, they were like, well, they don't know what to do with me. They want to put you in a box.
Mm.
But so I have a horror reel, I have a thriller reel, I have a comedy reel because they want to put you in the box because that's how they sell. They want to see you as one thing. My thing is good story, no matter what genre. Good story. If you can tell a good story in multiple genres, you should be able to direct a story in multiple genres. That's my thing with that. So if you like sci-fi, do it. You like drama, you tell that story, do it. Don't let them box you in, especially because you look the way you look. We all look the way we look. They expect us to do one type of thing. Come on. But we watch all their stuff.
Right.
Right.
You know what I mean? They don't watch that.
Yeah.
So don't let them box you in. Don't let them box.
All right. So the second question is, as a black filmmaker navigating Hollywood, what unique challenges have you faced, and how do you see the future of independent black cinema evolving?
Well, first of all, you probably hear this is 80 million times harder as a black filmmaker in the mainstream. It's not built for us. They didn't make it for us. You know, when we get opportunity, a lot of times we look at it as, hey, you're a guest, you're giving you a favor. It's hard to get in. And then those of us that get past a certain level, we so happy to be there and all the stuff that we've done to get there. People don't reach back. You follow? You know what I mean? That's one of the things. Is a lot of us don't reach back. They say they'll reach back, they don't reach back. You know what I mean? So a lot of times you feel like you're on your own trying to navigate and then trying to figure out, well, what space do I want to be in? Like TV is one of the hardest things to crack. You know what I mean? And most TV directors have somebody acting for the show or somebody that got gifted an episode and the DP runs the whole set. But it's about who you know. It's a lot of politics, you know what I mean? But you just have to make sure that number one, you write. You have to write. Most jobs you're gonna get outside of independent ain't gonna come because you're a good director. Don't they go get another director, get a white director, they get whatever. But if you write a dope ass script that they like or whatever, that they gotta have that, well, okay, you want that, you gotta take me too. So if you don't know how to write as a filmmaker of color, you need to. Number three, that's number one. Number two, call it patience and persistence. Patience and persistence. You got to be patient. If you in this for a career, it's a long game. Some people get a little quicker, it doesn't happen too often. But if you patient, but you keep going and you keep making your stuff, you keep going, it comes up. It happens for you. And then number three, you can't be looking to your left and to your right to what everybody else is doing. Everybody's path is going to be something different. You follow? And you can't get discouraged because somebody that was behind you got an opportunity. They shot over here real quick. Vice versa, you can't do that. You got to run your own ways and make quality content. Quality, quality, quality. And I tell people, they say, "Oh, this is great. Look at it. I'm gonna see what I did." And I'm looking at it. Okay, cool. And I'm brutally honest. I tell you what's good about it. And if you want to know, you can handle it. I tell you what maybe you can improve on. And I would say, and if people don't get it, I say, look, take a look at what you have and put that next to something you seeing on TV or something that you like. Is yours anywhere close to that? Is it close, similar, inquire, whatever? Okay, if it's not, what is it that's not as close or where you want it to be? Okay, now you know what the differences are. Try to close that gap. You follow? That's it. But it's not easy, but it's definitely fulfilling. I wouldn't trade my life and what I do for nothing. I've been through ups and downs, made a lot of money, lost money, put money up on money, lost money. I've done everything, but I wouldn't trade it.
Dope answer. Last question. Looking ahead, what kind of legacy do you want your films to leave behind? And is there a dream project that you haven't made yet?
I mean, just that I did quality stories, no matter what the genre, and I did them on my own terms. Most of I did on my own terms. And outside of Master P, I got the hook on. I'm mad you brought that up, Scribe. You know you was wrong for that. I was hired for that. That had nothing to do with that project. Anyway, but I got a big project that I can't talk about now that I think is happening. So I can't talk about that one. But I think my overall, I want to build like my own cinematic universe in sci-fi, like my own type of Star Wars type situation.
That's dope.
Yeah, anybody that know me know I collect Star Wars stuff. I got like 300 action figures. I still collect them to this day. I'm a Star Wars sci-fi
That's great.
buff.
My God.
That's what I want. That's my dream thing to build that, and I'm close to building it out. But we're gonna make movies in the meantime, because you know what? You know what's crazy? When we all said and gone, all of our projects still gonna be here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Still gonna be here after we
that's
long
wild.
gone. And that's an amazing thing if
Right.
you really think about it.
Immortality.
And I wasn't throwing shade, by
I
the
know you
way.
ain't.
I was not throwing shade. I got the hookup. It was no shade. You got to work with Master P. That's all
Right.
that was. There was no shade about the project.
Master P, I still love you, but you know you was on some bullshit on that movie. I turned that movie down and still got hired. I took the meeting out of courtesy because I was working with the producer on the dramatic project I wanted to do. And they sent me the script. I was like, nigga, no. And I was like, but I love Master P. I'm like, little Master P. I was like, oh, yeah. I took the meeting, gave us props, and then convinced to tell him how terrible the script was. But hey, if you did it like this, then this might be do something. But thank you, man. Want to meet you, da, 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 da. And just told him I'm cool on it. And then he called me he called me about 10:30, 11 o'clock that night. So yes, this is what we gonna do. I was like, I didn't even and I agreed to take it on only if Lynette the show is my producing partner. If you look it up, she does. We work and produce together. Phenomenal actor,
Yeah.
great producer, writer. And I said, I'll do it if we can do a page one rewrite. Meaning we need to rewrite the whole script.
Woo!
And the script was so bad, and it had this monkey in it. And I said, what the fuck is this damn monkey doing in this script? And when I told him, I said, I'll do it if I can rewrite the whole script. He said, okay. We rewrote the whole script. Made it like a comedy with a little drama in it. Made it high tech and stuff. And gave him a script. I'm thinking he's gonna say, hell no, it's too high end for him. He said, cool, I like it. Put the monkey back in. That was his only note. Put the monkey back in. I was like, oh, are you serious? So he left us alone, let us do our thing, but it started getting good because I was starting to get good performances out of actors. I like situational comedy. I don't like that slapstick shit. But he wanted to come in at the end of the day, have him do this, have him do that, and da 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 da. I'm like, okay. In my mind, I'm thinking, I'm not tripping because at the end of the day, when I get in post, I'm gonna be able to edit and cut it, and it's gonna be tight. So I let him come in and do a little shit at the end and change stuff. Then one day we show up, I got like a 10-page day, which is crazy. So before I get that, he want me to shoot 2 music videos on the same day. I'm like, are you kidding? Like, it was crazy. It was everybody. Mama came out, was in that movie. All kind of people was giving us. It was wild. But I said it to say, the last day I was so fed up, but cool, knowing that I can get in and cut this film. He took the damn hard drives there, and I ain't seen him for a year. And they called me.
My God.
Look, and they hit me up a week before it was going to theaters.
Wow.
That's
I
insane.
didn't watch that movie for a year after we came back. But I was so bad. I was so bad. I was in the DGA then, so I couldn't fight it.
Okay.
And I ain't listened to Master P song since then. But Romeo, everybody, whole cast was cool. P was cool. P just in his own head. But I talk shit about P though, and me and him had some words. But I definitely got his respect. But that movie could have been if you watch that movie, you can kind of see, if you know my work, you kind of see what I was doing. And you'll kind of see the shit that he did. And they took it, cut all the good stuff out, threw a bunch of junk in it. That's another. Be careful about wanting to work with people that you admire, your idols.
Right.
You might walk away.
They'll take advantage of that.
You might walk away and never want to see them or anything about them ever again. That's crazy. I'm sorry, I'm just venting. I was my Master P vent. It was a long time ago. I can be open with it.
No, but the crazy part is that was my second question. How was your journey getting the gig and then writing along with directing? I got the hookup too. That was one of my questions. So you answered one of my questions right there with that.
No, the crazy part about it, Ray, I'm gonna let you have it after me. But the crazy part about it is just like to watch the film. In my head, I was just like, okay, they had a concept. They really wanted to make a film that involved like influencers, right? That to me was the gist of like what was happening. Cause the storyline, it definitely didn't track, right? So I'm like, now that I hear your experience, I'm like, okay, that kind of makes sense what happens. And I think.
Yeah. Go ahead. Oh, I'm sorry. No,
I'm saying, I think we've all had kind of the experience of working with people in whatever capacity of where we have this thing and we're like, we're not really sure about it. and then we do it anyway, right? And then anytime we go against our gut of doing something, it turns out to be exactly why we didn't want to do it in the first place. So I feel like even that is probably a learning lesson of being like, all right, I was on the fence about it from jump. I probably shouldn't have approached it, but it is what it is.
Hey, the check was good, but it wasn't like the amount of stuff we went through. Because, like I said, film was forever. That whole influencer thing, like there was no story. We tried to make a nice, intricate story that was pretty cool with some situational comedy, and he was cool with that until he seen how good it was coming out. I guess I was making it look easy. The actors was having a great time, and it was coming together. Like DC, y'all know DC Young Fly. DC's hilarious. So I wanted to give him some time to really do some dramatic acting to kind of balance it out. And that's what he wanted. And so we'll get a lot of all that in, and then, and I'm have some fun a little bit. But then P come at the end of the day, no, let him cut up. Let him cut up. Let him flow the whole time. So I was like, all right. But no, they took that script. It was a lot. Y'all know the type of films I made. It was a lot. It would have been a lot better film if they had let the director, writer do what they need to do and then take all the credit. I didn't care about the credit. I just want to make a good movie. Right. So that's what it is. That's why I don't talk about it. But it taught me a valuable lesson though. I got to hook up to
All right, Ray. What you got, Ray?
So being from the crib, Joliet, when did you start to know that this was your thing? Like
when?
Because we had nothing at the crib at the time.
Just go.
Now it's everything.
Like being like, Joliet's big ass prison town with a bunch of GDs and wild stuff. I was around wild stuff, and then I'll be up in the city with my family and stuff, kicking it up there and just start seeing different things. And Cooley High was a big classic movie back in the day. And I used to get a kick out of watching the old Cooley High and stuff. And then I saw House Party when I was little. And the Hughes brothers was from East St. Louis, Illinois.
Okay, yeah.
But I heard Illinois. I was like, oh, they doing this when black film was like kind of really coming up.
Yeah.
Like, they come from Illinois, and I kind of got a little bug on it. But then when I went away to college, I decided I wanted to major in mass communications, do stuff with camera stuff. And I met this guy named Steve Johnson from Chicago, and he had his music video show. And we just get cameras. He would just show me little stuff. And I said, I think I want to make movies and stuff. And that was around the renaissance of black filmmakers like Matty Rich and Spike. All these new black filmmakers was coming up, John Singleton. And I kind of got the bug and started shooting stuff. Did like a little crazy film on campus with video cameras. I wouldn't watch it to this day, and just got the bug that way. And said, you know what? This is what I want to do. And then that's why they took me to Howard for film school. When I got to Howard, I said, I'm going to make a feature film before I get out of Howard. I'm going to use all the still school equipment. And I did. I made it. I used my Pell Grant money.
Was that studio?
Nah, that was before studio. It was called Hip Hop Task Force. Studio was a sequel. Hip Hop Task Force was some real low budget. I thought it was pretty cool though at the time. It was all right for the time, but I shot it in DC while I was at Howard with Howard equipment, put it in theaters myself, made some money, did well, and then moved off to LA. Because a little young buck thing I had made it, then realized I needed to do another movie a little bigger. That was studio. And that was a little bigger budget. I got Warner Brothers Home Video to pick that up. Don't ask me how. But back then, got them to pick it up, and then that's kind of what.
See, that made me want to ask you how.
It was a decent movie. We didn't have the HD. We're talking mini DV. They didn't have all that good high. We can afford all that high def, the really good stuff. There's no reason for your film today not to look good. There's no reason for your film not to look good today with all these different cameras. Now, it don't cost no money to write a good script. Learn how to write a good script. Find you some good actors. You should be able to make some good stuff. Back then, we could have a good story, some good actors. The cameras probably didn't look the best unless you had some money, but you can tell a story. And I was able to get Warner Brothers to pick it up and do a little something. And that's kind of what got me going out here. But when I got here, that's when I realized I try to understand the business and how hard this game is. And my boy, Carl Seaton, shout out to Carl Seaton from Chicago. I don't know if you know him, you should know him. Carl's a legend in Chicago. He did this movie called 1 Week Back in Chicago that I saw when I was at Howard. It was great. But meeting him out here, and he kind of took me under my wing, and under his wing kind of taught me about Hollywood and how it is out here as a black filmmaker and the shit I was going to deal with. And told me, if you ain't willing to do this, take your ass back home. And we've been close ever since. Today, Carl came up just like I did, ahead of me. Carl's directing everything on TV right now. You name it, he directing it. Look him up. Carl's a legend right now. He finally broke in. Now, we and him, back in the day, me and him used to go get blood together, get money when we first got out here. That's how broke we was. Now, he's took off. He's like in the stratosphere as far as TV So that's kind of how what kind of got me going, is just seeing these people before me back there and then coming out here and then really just taking it to another level.
Okay.
You got one more, Ray? Or you good?
Yeah. So we worked with Sierra Angelia as well. I see you worked with her.
Sierra,
And
yeah.
so from my standpoint from her, bro, I didn't see her like on coming to set with a script, making sure she on point, to leaving because she's about to do something else, picking that script right up. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like she never miss a beat with stuff, man. So it was great for us to work with her and never see somebody like really be able to tap in and do this and then
Mm-hmm.
tap back in and all that. So how was that working with her
Yeah, she came
for you?
I didn't even know Sierra. She came. I was doing this pilot groupies, and she had already been cast. I didn't know her, so I wasn't familiar. But I'm here to knock out this job, and then once I got her on set, I was like, oh, okay, she's cool. Very professional, knew her lines, take direction
Right.
very well. But what I like is I love people that can know how to play comedy straight, situational comedy, and play it straight. She does that well, but she also has dramatic chops as well. She's
Yeah.
a pleasure to work with. She's one of them next ones that's about to blow up. Her time is
Exactly.
coming. She right there. So that was great. You work with her. She's good people. I
Yeah.
enjoy
Sierra
her.
is, that's my girl. It's my girl. All
She's tired.
right. You got something for us? Do you have anything you want to ask us?
Yeah, tell me about y'all. What y'all working on, Scribe? I know Scribe be out here knocking it out. You knocking out movies left or right. I'm looking forward to seeing your next joy. Baby, tell me about what y'all doing.
Yeah. Hold on, it skipped for a
Okay.
second. I think I got it though. You said what we got going on?
Yeah, let me know.
Yeah.
Yeah, so well, a bunch of stuff. Well, Different With Me, that was a feature film that just dropped recently. At some really cool people. I love it. I've always been addicted to rom-coms, so that's kind of what started that. It had some cool new faces, Ashley Chastain, Kevin Blake Chandler, but then some OGs like Joe Torre, comedic
Cynthia
just
Bailey.
giant, Cynthia Bailey, William Allen Young, Marcus Polk, Zuhan Jones. So shout out to all of them for really just showing up and showing out. So you can check that out. We just had 24 Hours, which was a film I shot all in POV, which was crazy. My boy Ray right here wrote it. And so that's out right now. It's dramatic. We got this year, we got Caught Slippin', Droppin', Lord Have Mercy 1 and 2. And then next year, I'll be jumping back in front of the camera as well as being behind the camera. So we're going to do a series, 2 films, maybe 3 is writing is in the process. And then the biggest thing though is launching our own streaming platform. And I'll call you after this. We can get into the ins and outs, but
Shit.
I'm trying to solve that gap of the problem is, as we know, every 4 to 5 years, right, these streaming platforms, they either abandon us or they change the ECPM or they just change their dollar amount that they're licensing to us. But what we need is our own platform that we own. And I'll play the long game, right? What's the difference between us and Tubi? Well, Tubi has money. It's owned by Fox. But imagine if we all would have put our films on our own Black-owned content streaming platform and we would have sent the traffic and we would have blew it up. So that's what we're here to do.
Let me jump in real quick.
And like I said, play that long game to maintain ownership and do non-exclusive licenses so you can still put your film on Tubi. You can still put your film and license it to these other platforms. No one's trying to stop that. We just want to be an additional resource.
Let me piggyback off something you said real quick before you go too far. You talked about Fox.
Okay.
You talked about Tubi. We had a deal with Fox Tubi Originals. It's through Mar Vista.
Okay.
One of the worst experiences ever. Worst experiences ever. I'm gonna tell you this. There's a reason why you see so many Tubi originals. The reason why, because they put them in the front of the algorithm and they make a lot of money. But what they do is, I hate to say it, but they play on the fact that people want opportunities. When they approached us, we were one of the first companies they approached to do those deals. And they approached us because we had a track record.
Right.
And then I didn't want to do it at first because they made it seem like they was doing us a favor. And I'm like, cool, they gave us a 3-picture deal. And I'm like, okay, and they want us to agree to budgets without scripts. You do it. I said, we don't have a script. Like it was crazy. And I'm a DGA guild director. And I'm a writers guild as well. I say that to say what they do is they get filmmakers like us, they give them smaller budgets and send them out to make their stuff and deliver it. And the money you make is the money that you make off of making it. You don't get nothing else. And then they make a killing off of it.
Wow.
And they run.
Yep.
It's like I hate to say it's like a plantation. And now, don't get me wrong, it's a great opportunity if you're a new filmmaker and you get somebody put some money for you, make a film, do what you got to do. But they take advantage of that, and then people keep doing them because they actually pimping the system with your hard work and making a lot of money off of it and not giving you your just due. But the killer part is not so much that, it's the fact that certain white production companies, they give more money to do less with less experience. And I caught him in that. Like I caught him. I was real nice and bearded, but me, Lynette and myself, you on the Zoom and it's all white people, you only black person. I gotta smile like this to keep them from the
Right.
I would let Lynette do all the talking. She was a lead producer, but they was doing fuckery. I can give them details. I don't want to air it out. We'll talk offline, but that is a plantation for them to pimp our creativity without us having anything on the back end, no ownership. You know what I mean? And I've seen the numbers. I know what our particular project did and what the budget was. And they were still trying to cut our budget and add stuff into the budget that wasn't even paid for, but wanted to tack it onto our line because they was peeling money off. Crazy. That's all I gotta say about that. So Scribe, whatever you want to do with your streaming platform, I commend you. That's exactly what we need. You are 100% right on with that. You know what the hell you're talking about.
Well, thank you. It's the same stuff. See, I've been preaching it, but it's when people hear it from other people over and over again. And I just feel like as a collective, what we need to do as Black filmmakers is stick together, is to say, why not us? We always blow up the platform. Why can't we go to our own platform? So my concept is this: it's always free for the audience, it's ad share, and it's 50-50 revenue split. If you want to go through a distributor to get to me, you can, but come directly to me as a filmmaker. And the other thing is non-exclusive. I'm not stopping you from going anywhere or whatever deal that you got, which means that if it's already on Tubi, why not put it here too?
You're 100% right, girl. You are.
And I just feel like that concept is it's so simple. It's going to take a while to build, but I'm glad that I have people like you and other people. And I feel like that's a great way to wrap us up today as we talk about ownership. They brought us here on the boat, but now we finna own the ship.
The ship.
Ownership.
Yep.
I just wanted to take the time to appreciate Corey Grant for coming through the casting couch. You dropped so many dang gems.
Yes, appreciate you.
We appreciate you and other OGs like yourself for teaching us the game. Let's continue to support his projects. Let's continue to come together and make new projects. We will be back next week on the casting couch. Who should we have on the pod next? Let us know. Hit us up on socials and make sure you guys show support, show love. I'm your co-host, Kennedy Scribe Castore. We got Ray Johnson here, Johnny Crown. Our special guest was Corey Grant. We are out.
Peace and love.
All right, y'all. Hit me up.
Love.